Yo guys, what's going on? Welcome back to ZEITGEIST. My name is Kofi Jones and I'm joined today with Rivenis. Rivenis is a comic book creator and artist. Riv, what's going on, brother?
I'm just here, surviving the pandemic.
So you have this whole thing going on Diskordia. You could tell me a little bit about it?
It's kind of like, to pick someone that knows nothing about it, it's the genre of surreal fantasy. It's kind of like an epic story where I can just tell any kind of weird, surreal, dreamlike story I want to with a pretty much overarching through-line narrative that slowly come together over a long saga.
So how long have you been working on this?
Well, this year marks the 10th year of publication.
Okay.
I've been kind of like, it's been kind of a brainchild for about a couple of years before that. I've been working on the first issue and the characters and stuff like that. And if we're going really technical, there's lots of little bits of stories that I kind of came from older stories, old things I'd worked on.
So it reminds me of, I don't know if you know of the Grim Tales comic book series that used to be on, I can't remember the website name, but what inspired you to do this?
We could literally be here all day. We could break down what kind of inspiration you're talking about, what inspired the comic specifically, what inspires me in general. But in a way, the answer's all the same. It's basically life and living, like lots of different things.
So you just put aspects from your actual life?
Yeah, and also what I've observed as well, because in a way, this is like my most expressive work in terms of it's just me interpreting the world we live in to my own specific lens and putting it out there in a way that only I can.
So why specifically comics? And to tell the story, like why specifically that medium?
That's a really good question. I didn't want to do comics specifically because it's a lot of freaking work. It's a lot of work.
It really is.
But to tell you the truth, it's comics because I'm really good at it. And in a way because I do like writing. I originally just wanted to do novels, but there's two sides to me, and they have to come together. There's the artist side of me that likes to draw, likes to create things visually, design characters, create these off-the-wall ideas and try to get them into the physical world. And then there's the writer side of me that likes to tell narratives, that likes to
storyteller.
Yeah, the storyteller there. And I realized that when I would focus on one, I would feel like a neglect to the other.
Yeah, disservice the other.
Exactly. But eventually, it just came together, and I just decided, okay, let me just take a stab at this. And I found the key to working on a comic is one page at a time, one chapter at a time.
Okay.
Yeah, you can think about the long haul, but you can't be thinking about, oh, this is so much work all the time.
Has that ever run you into some issues? Like, let me say you at chapter, I don't know, 38, but you forgot a plot from chapter 2 that you never necessarily closed. Like, is it easy to like keep all the ends tight?
Oh, I love doing that. I love going back and trying to figure out certain things because it is that kind of narrative where it's designed to be filled with details that it doesn't spoon feed the reader, that they have to be looking out for. And then it'll be like setups and payoffs. So yeah, that's actually a concern. I have books that I call Diskordia Bibles. I just have scribbles in, and I just keep my notes and a lot of times lots of stuff slips between the cracks because I would be like, let me just look at chapter 3 just to look at it and say, oh, that's interesting. And sometimes it would be like I can spin a payoff out of that little detail that I just put there for the sake of putting there.
So on the topic of long form content, isn't it possible that you could at some point, I don't want to say lose your audience, but with the distance in time between each chapter or what's not, do you think it's possible that you could lose out on your market a little bit?
Yeah, that's a challenge for sure because anyone that does like marketing and building an audience knows that consistency is key.
Right.
So it's definitely a struggle a lot earlier on, especially when I have fewer chapters out, because people will move on to the next big thing or forget it, and then every time they gotta come back, they gotta start from scratch. So I would really like to get more chapters out more often, and I do little things like keeping people invested by like showing previews of what I'm working on to fill in the gaps they make sure that on the website there's a coming soon, so they know, okay, this hasn't been abandoned. You know,
Right,
someone's
right,
just
right.
discovering it and saying, oh, this hasn't been abandoned.